Have you ever read a sentence that just, I don't know, felt a little clunky? You know it's not quite right, but you can't really put your finger on why? Well, a lot of the time, that's a problem with something called parallelism. And today, we're going to break down this one simple rule that can take your writing from just okay to absolutely captivating. All right, let's just dive right in and put a sentence under the microscope. You'll see exactly what I mean. It's grammatically fine, I guess, but it just feels, well, a little broken. Okay, take a look at this. Volunteering is fun, easy, and rewards you. It kind of stumbles right at the finish line, doesn't it? It feels unbalanced. So what's the deal here? What's causing that awkward feeling? Well, the answer and the fix for that awkwardness lies in this really core principle of great writing. It's called parallel structure, and honestly, it's all about creating this really satisfying sense of balance. So what even is parallelism? It's basically the idea that when you're linking related concepts together, you should use the same grammatical pattern for each one. You know, our brains just love patterns. They make information so much easier to process. So when you match a noun with a noun or a verb with a verb, you're not just following some stuffy rule. You're actually making your ideas clearer and just better. And here is the fix in action. So that original sentence mixed two adjectives, fun and easy, with a totally different thing, a verb phrase, rewards you. That's the problem. That's the imbalance. But by just changing rewards you to another adjective, rewarding, the whole pattern just clicks right into place. Fun, easy, rewarding. Can you hear that? It's clean, it's balanced, and it just flows so much better. Okay, so now we know the what and the why. Let's get into the how. We're going to build a little toolkit with some really common examples that you can use to spot this stuff and fix it in your own writing. A super common place to find parallelism is in lists of activities. You know, with those verbs that end in ing. They're also called gerunds. And the rule here is just so simple. If you start the list with an ing word, you got to stick with it all the way through. For instance, Sarah likes running, fishing, and to hike. Ugh, that last item totally breaks the pattern. But listen to this corrected version. Running, fishing, and hiking. See that rhythm? It's that beautiful consistency that makes the whole sentence feel so much smoother. And guess what? The exact same logic works for infinitives. That's the to form of a verb, like to run or to jump. The whole trick is just keeping things consistent to create that balanced rhythm. Now, what's really interesting here is how just repeating the word to makes all the difference. To run, to fish, and jump feels a little incomplete, right? Like it just drops off at the end. But to run, to fish, and to jump creates this deliberate, balanced cadence. Each thing in the list gets introduced in the exact same way. It's so much more powerful. And hey, you might be thinking this is only for long, complicated lists. But nope. This principle is just as crucial when you're linking 2 or 3 simple ideas with words like and, or, and but. Just look at this morning routine. The incorrect version is kinda all over the place with its verb forms, but the correct one keeps it clean, keeps it consistent. I make, I brush, I eat. It's a logical sequence of events, and now the grammar actually reflects that logic and clarity. All right, time for a slightly more advanced tool, these things called conjunction pairs. Just think of them as a package deal. Words like either or not only but also, create these 2 slots in your sentence. And the rule is simple. Whatever grammatical form you put in that first slot, you have to match it in the second one. Here we go, a perfect example. Notice what comes right after either. The verb phrase, cut back. So what has to follow or? Another verb phrase, find. Verb matches verb. It's that perfect symmetry that gives the sentence its punch and its clarity. Okay, so we've seen how to do it right, but let's talk about spotting the mistakes. Knowing these common traps is really the key to hunting down and fixing parallelism issues in your own work. Seriously, think of this as your quick scan checklist for editing. When you're reading your own writing, just keep an eye out for these common mismatches. Are you mixing word types, like throwing an adjective in with a bunch of verbs? Are you swapping between your ing words and your to verbs? Is your tense shifting around in the middle of a sentence? Catching these simple little traps is the absolute fastest way to make your writing stronger. So look, this isn't just some boring old grammar rule you have to memorize for a test. This is a genuine writing superpower, and once you learn how to use it, it will literally elevate everything you write. So why does all this matter so much? Because parallelism is like the invisible architecture of great communication. It brings real clarity to your ideas, making them effortless for your reader to understand. It creates a rhythm that just feels polished and professional. And you know what? Ultimately, it makes what you say more persuasive and way more memorable. Now that you're in on the secret, you're going to start seeing it everywhere, in famous speeches, in clever ads, in your favorite books. But the real question is, where are you going to use this new superpower first? In an email to your boss? That next big report? Or hey, maybe just a simple text message? I'm telling you, once you start using it, you won't be able to stop.